Stellaris. So, this episode I'm actually going to focus a lot on building my empire and sort of making sure everything runs perfectly. Now, for those of you who actually saw my first episode and remember me stating that I was about to make a huge mistake, well, you're about to see that huge mistake come to fruition. Basically, I sort of rushed the uplifting of this race, and I think that it might come back to bite me in the butt. But hopefully not, but most likely it will, because that's just how these things work. So odds are I'm probably going to be uploading this video like right after the first video. This is because I basically just ran out of content to upload. I need to clean out my library and make sure that I have sort of a clean slate to work with. Not to mention I've had several other projects on the go for a little bit, so making videos kind of gets put on the back burner for a little bit too long. So hopefully everything will start to settle down here in a little bit and I can kind of get back onto a normal schedule of video recordings and start making a few more bulk videos and get everything nice and set up for you guys, so that way we have more content coming out, or at least some content coming out on a semi-regular basis. A lot of you guys will probably notice that I haven't been uploading on Friday. Again, that's because I don't have a lot of content to actually upload. So I'm working on that. Things just, like I said, it gets kind of tricky. So
system survey
dealing
complete.
with expanding your area, the easiest way to do that is to build forward operating bases. And that's part of the reason why I got rid of that mod. Now, I could currently build a forward operating base, but here in a little bit you guys are going to see that there is a race of hostile aliens fairly close to me, a little dangerously too close. And unfortunately, you gotta love it when like the audio, when it tells you like several different things all at once. This is what I was talking about. That screen right there is what I was talking about having to research the aliens. I believe there was a similar one in the first
situation log updated.
But I need more military power,
Construction complete.
Stronger ships, more ships, if I'm going to take on those aliens that are really close to me. You guys will see them here in a little bit when I get over when my science vessel gets over into the system. So the low income warning. This is because I've been building a lot of forward operating bases, or a lot of mining bases. And like I said before, the ranking goes down in like decimal points. So I'm in the negative, but I'm not like really that far into the negative. And part of what's taking up a lot of my time and resources is this. Uplifting this race is taking up a lot of energy. So the good news is, once I do uplift them, then I don't have to worry about stuff that goes on in sort of their area, and then I can focus on expanding my area out into one direction and then let them focus on expanding in the other direction, which is sort of my final goal. Is to, obviously your entire goal about this game is to take over the entire galaxy, basically. No, literally, actually. Either by making friends or making enemies, your goal is to take over the galaxy. So I've got my construction ship going off and building mining bases around planets and stars and things like that, so I could get energy credits rolling in. But here in a minute, you guys might notice that my social research is going to be sitting at 0. And when I go into the research screen, it'll say that I'm not making any progress in this research area, in this area of research. That is because of the uplift going on with that alien race that I had found. So that's gonna be a huge sort of hit to me. And also, like I said, I believe I sort of uplifted them a little too quickly. I would at the very least like to have had the battleships before I uplifted them, but they were right there, and you know how these things work. You get excited and you're like, yes, all right, I have, a race of artificial aliens that I can, rely on, and they'll have my back in a battle, and yeah. So
Special
there's
project
the
complete.
the crystalline entities. Yeah, I wonder where that came from. So,
Situation log updated.
with all of that going on, I have to now worry about trying to make sure that I get enough resources to build enough ships that I can fight those crystal entities, because I believe they are 150 apiece. Battle
System
strength.
survey complete.
So, at my current 130 something, odds are I'm probably gonna lose. I believe it's like theirs is like 2 ships versus my like 6, but even still, odds are I'm probably gonna lose that battle. They'll end up doing more damage to me. So I need to get my research stuff going. I need to get a lot of stuff going before I can consider taking them on. And one of those things is upgrading my spaceport. I might build the Corvette yard the next time around, because, like I said, I am going for the military power, so having the faster build on the ships. Now, the circle thing you see with the Xenophile, that is because I have the Xenophile perk. If you didn't have that Xenophile trait picked, that wouldn't be there. You would have something completely different.
Special project complete.
Like if you had Xenophobia or something like that, you would get a completely different option there. I have to admit, I do kind of like that aspect of the game where they sort of acknowledge the traits that you picked and kind of go with it. So I'm currently waiting for, time, really. So I can start building all of the stuff that I need to keep my empire moving forward. I wish I had a place to put my first strike force, which will be renamed. I'm working on renaming it. I will be doing that. Like I said, the next episode, top thing on the list of things to do is rename fleets and rename ships and all of that. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename the ship classes so that way I only have to really worry about what class of ship I'm dealing with. And I'll have to play around with that and see if it has an effect, like if I can actually swap out ships, renaming and rebuilding ships. So I'll have to try that out and see what happens. But if everything works out well, then I'll have all of my ship classes will be different. Okay. Oh, okay, so that's a good idea right there. Okay. So I have an idea of what I'm going to do. And in fact, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but this is me writing down my idea right now. Here, we'll do it like this. See, and that's the advantage of doing post-recording, is that I don't have to worry about trying to do that while the game is going, you know, and having situation logs and all that stuff coming in at me all at once. Ouch. Ouch. So that actually stings quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to try and figure out how to do the commentary inside the game, because going back through and doing the commentary outside the game is a bit tricky. And I apologize for... because, I mean, it's like those sections right there where I end up with huge chunks of just sitting around. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the post-commentary, was because that's going to happen a lot in this game, especially when you get to the point where you actually have the firepower to be able to deal with a lot of the problems. A lot of the problems that crop up.
Anomaly found.
The pain. What the hell? Sorry, I am recording, but good Lord. But I'm also hemorrhaging money. Stocks, people, I tell you. Stocks. So, anyway, again, like I said, I'll try my best to try and pause the, or keep the text and stuff on screen long enough for you guys to be able to pause it and read what it says. I would read it, but first off, like I said in the other video, I tried reading it and it didn't go well. Also, not that I'm self-conscious about my reading, but it's one of those things where I can read faster in my head than I can out loud. So I tend to, you know what, screw you.
Situation log
I'll tell you,
updated.
this has just been one of those things, man. Look, just leave it. Just leave it. So,
System survey complete.
one of the things you'll see me do a lot in this game is you'll see me queuing stuff up. Yeah, so that was me saying that, you know, most of what's taking up a lot of my research points is that uplift. I don't think I'll be able to find the soul system. I think the soul system is farther inward on this game, which is actually not right. So this is the point when I realized that I had more people than buildings, right? Like I mentioned in the other game, and you can see how quickly things can just kind of, you know, stack up on you. Is if you're not paying attention, you know, things just keep pouring in, and you're like, kind of get a little bit overwhelmed. But yeah, I just
Special project complete.
And yeah, switching those guys around obviously wasn't gonna help anything, because it's like, wait, I'm still gonna have unemployed people. So it's just different people, you know. So I will start building that stuff here in a moment. I have to wait for the minerals to come rolling in. And of course, I have to get a ton of minerals coming in fairly quickly. So I believe I went with the one that has the mining and the food for this next section. Because, of course, I can use the mining resources. The only thing I don't like is there's no way to, aside from something like your capital, there's no real way to have both. Like, you have to siphon one in order to get the other. Oh, no, wait, that's right. I did build the power plant because I needed the energy more than I needed anything else. I need the energy credits more. So right now, especially early game, energy credits are like the biggest thing. The problem is, if you focus too much on energy credits, what you end up doing is you end up kind of overflowing yourself, and there is a cap to it, which obviously you can increase throughout the game. And a lot of the research projects that you see me grabbing early on in the game are to do just that, increase the amount of energy credits that I can store. But otherwise, because I have had this happen to me, where I've gone through the game and I just ended up having too many energy credits, and anything extra that you get each month is literally just kind of like burned, destroyed, and thrown away. So it's kind of in your best interest to sort of, so every once in a while what I'll do is I will deliberately let my energy credits run into the negative, especially if I'm getting really close to my limit, just to kind of bring it down a little bit, so that way I don't end up wasting energy credits on just throwing them away. And you can do that by so one of the easiest things, especially for me, is just obviously having a huge fleet of ships. The more ships I have, the more it costs me, especially if I go over my ship limit. But other than that, it's about the facilities that you build and stuff like that. Now, I can turn off facilities on planets. I clicked the wrong button there. I can turn off facilities on planets to help with that. So usually what I'll do is I'll like turn off the energy places and let the energy run into the negative. Unfortunately, it does tend to cause a bit of an unemployment issue. But the good news is you can keep the research coming in at a high enough rate that you shouldn't have to worry too much about shedding a whole bunch of stuff off. So you can kind of easily maintain your energy credits and keep everything kind of running smoothly. When it comes to your food, I usually base all of my food off of the primary stats screen and sort of where we're sitting. So the number of food versus the pop or population. The higher that is, the more you have coming in. Now, it took me a little bit to work out, but if the number is 1 for your food, that means you are making enough food to feed the people that you have. If the number is 2, that means you're making twice the amount of food that you need to feed the people that you have. 3 is 3 times, 4 is 4 times, 5 is 5 times. So, ironically, what that actually means as far as the game goes is that you can have 1, 2, 3, or 4 extra population on top of the ones that you have. So each new generation, so like the one I just clicked on, once they're of age and able to work, they will so you saw me go check that screen real quick, and I was checking to see what that number was. Once they're of age and able to work, they'll drop that number down to like 3. And I need to figure out how to get those announcement things to go to different spots. You'll see that Giraffe-Rama actually logs on to several different games while I play. I think he has internet problems. I don't know. Like, well, no, I know he has internet problems. But I think he has problems with certain games playing. Also, I want to say he's out of town. I think he's like, I think he said he was at his nan's or whatever. I honestly don't fully remember. It's been like 2 weeks since we played anything, so. I mean, there it is again. And I mean, even at that point, I was like, huh, I wonder if I can find a way to shut those off so people don't see those on the screen. But it's Giraffe-Rama, you guys know who he is. That I know if he hasn't uploaded anything on his channel for a while, so he may have just kind of fizzled out on the whole YouTube thing. I honestly, I can't blame him. I'm kind of a bit in the same boat. It would be different if I had tons of money coming in, if I had like contracts and stuff like that, but the problem is I don't, and I mean, I do it because I enjoy doing it, not because I'm obligated to. And I've talked about all of this before with you guys, so I mean, there's no real point in going over it again. I mean, unless of course it's somebody new, in which case check out my channel. There's at least one video in every series that I talk about the pitfalls of being a YouTuber for the most basic reason of all, and that's entertainment. There's at least one video, and if you don't believe me, ask the people in the comments. So there is a way in this game, which I really love, that is a part of this game. I can send my science ship, my construction ship, I mean, into a system and just have them build mining, like all the like mining stuff and research stuff. Just have them go ahead and build all of that stuff in the system without even going into the system. I will be using that a lot later on in the game. Like, once I get to the point where my energy credits aren't so big of a problem, like right now, they're not really that big of a problem because I'm sitting at plus 11. But once I get to the point where they're no longer, where my energy credits are no longer a huge problem, I will most definitely be sending the construction ship into areas, into solar systems, and just going build, just like build everything. But unfortunately right now, and especially when I get back, one of the things I'm going to have to do is part of what you're seeing now, which is upgrading all of my stuff. I am going to have a lot of things to upgrade and not a lot of minerals to do it with. So that's the other pitfall of focusing so heavily on getting the energy credits, which is I now don't have the minerals coming in fast enough to be able to keep up with demand. And there you see the no progress. And of course, at first I was like, why isn't this thing going? I was like, that's weird. I was like, you know, why isn't it making any progress? Because I need the colony ship so I can, you know, colonize other planets. Yeah, and you'll see me click back and forth on the screen for a little bit because I'm trying to figure out why it's not doing anything. And only, like, just before my, here in a little bit, it'll kick in my head that my, observation is taking up all of the social research. So it's going up, but it's going up really, really, really slowly. So yeah. But once that's done, which will be done here in a second, then you'll kind of see why I think I might have kind of pushed a little bit too quickly. Because first and foremost, I'm going to lose one of my systems. Actually, technically speaking, I lose two systems. Right? So I lost that star system right there. So I could build there, but that would be building inside of their territory, and I was just going to let them have that anyway. So I'm going to let them sort of go out and branch out into one direction, and then I'll branch out in the other direction, and we'll just kind of split the galaxy in half. Until I decide that I've had enough and just declare war on them all at once. But I will have their backs whenever trouble arises, which is kind of the whole main idea of the vassals, is you have someone that you have an NPC that will come to your aid should you need it. So we're getting fairly close to the end of this recording, which is nice. I really don't have much of anything else to really talk about as far as this game goes. I actually like playing it. I love the music. I love the atmosphere. I love the fact that I didn't notice before. Here you see me pause again. Always pause for the research. There it is. That's what I need to build. Like, I do need to get the ion thruster, but being able to build bigger, better warships.
Research complete.
Also, shields. Yes! Shields are huge. Oops. Yeah, shields are huge. Because, of course, even just having the shields will increase my military strength. So right now the debate is between the shields or the stronger weapons, and naturally I'm going to go with the shields first. Now the research stuff kind of rotates around itself a little bit. So I might not have the energy weapons the next time around. I might have something else. But it will eventually come back. So you guys are probably going to notice a bit of a jump cut here in a little bit. I had to cut like a huge chunk out. I mean, I literally recorded some and then some audio, and while watching, I'm like, wow, I've been sitting on this screen for a really long time. So I cut a huge chunk of stuff out. I showed the beginning of it, show the end of it. Basically, I'm going to do the upgrades, which is actually a really bad idea. What I really should have done was I should have built a mineral mining outpost for minerals, but you live and learn. So I now have my upgrades available for that, and as you guys saw that little jump there, that was, I mean, I literally sat on the same screen for that amount of time, long enough for me to get enough minerals to upgrade something else, which I really shouldn't have done. Like I said, I really should have built more mining platforms instead, and I'll do that again. Like I said, I'll do that next time.
Research complete.
And my next thing of research is done. The colony ship is finished. Yay! Now what I should have done was I should have done the border expansion, but that monthly influence thing is also really huge, especially for me early on. So I wanted to get that out of the way. I should have done the border expansion. I thought about it. I was like, no, I should have done border expansion. But then I thought to myself, you know, having that extra influence is going to come in handy. So everything will work out in the end. I guarantee it. Next time through, I'm going to go back. I'm going to not necessarily fix a lot of the mistakes that I've made, but kind of turn them into benefits instead of keeping them as mistakes. So, yeah. other than that, I'm pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there. And I will see you guys next time. So to that, I'm going to say sayonara.